this is an unusual video. You're seeing me in my car. I'm headed to the doctor. I have been sick, for like the last 2.5 weeks, and it's like I just can't get rid of it. I had a round of pneumonia first, and then I went back on my 10th day, and I was like, okay, look, I'm out of medication, and I've already taken the first round and not even done a refill, and I'm still sick. Hey, what is going on? And he said, I think you have another round of pneumonia. So having it twice back to back is a real bummer. And today is not for that particular appointment that I didn't schedule. This isn't a scheduled appointment for pneumonia. This is for something else, but just a regular routine checkup. But I am definitely going to mention this mess because I still feel it like in my chest, so I'm definitely going to mention that. Another thing, you know what it did the other night? I fell. I'm a klutz, y'all. I fall like nobody's business, and I fell, and I wound up hitting my toe, my second toe on my right foot somehow, which I'm pretty sure I broke before, because when I was a child, adolescent anyway, and I stayed with my great-grandparents, they always used to tell me when I would stay up late on Saturday night, hey, turn the light off in the den, when you go to bed. And every time I would do that, I would walk through there in the dark and always stump my toe on their recliners, always. So when I fell the other night, all I could think about was that same toe, because it's the same toe, and it hurt like a son of a gun. I think I broke it because it's pretty discolored, and it hurts to do a lot of things to it. But anyway, it's about a good 20-minute drive from here to the clinic where I go, from home to the clinic where I go, and that's the nearest, biggest town. There are 3 tiny little towns next to us, but none of them have more than like a Dollar General, Family Dollar. One of those towns has a really small Walmart, so there's not a whole lot of shopping options there. There's a little bit more in the town that I'm going to. And then, of course, I pick my daughter up at 5. Her school goes to school from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, so they have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. And so I'll pick her up and then come back and pick my son up from practice, come home, and start my evening all over again. I've got to say, it's only been a couple of days, and I started a YouTube channel. I started this channel with a purpose of gathering information, giving information, being a part of a community. And most of all, I think the best for me is going to be to watch myself change over time, because we grow as people and we don't always get to see that in ourselves. Other people do, and we don't notice it. And sometimes it can be a very eye-opening revelation. This is you. This is what you look like now, or this is how you sound now, or this is your ideals, and see if it changes over time. And hopefully, being 37, my ideals won't change too much. Maybe they'll just mature a whole lot more. But I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for life to me to be able to take life by the horns and just, run with it. Do what I know that I was born to do. Besides being a mom, I always thought that I was born to be a mother. And, that was my calling in life. Whether, it was to be a mother on my own, or just in general, just be a mother. I just always felt like that was my calling. That was going to be it, And it does. It's very fulfilling and very rewarding. But there are things missing for them even that I want to teach them. And so I'm excited. It's a really beautiful day here in Texas. It's clear skies, and it's just as bright as ever. I mean, it's so bright, but it's windy as all get out, and it's cold. It's not as cold as it was yesterday, but we got up to this morning to 26 degrees. So that was considered a freeze. Thank God I didn't put any of my plants out yet. I was so excited the other day getting the raised beds back in order that I was like, oh yeah, I can put brassicas in here. I'm glad I didn't, because it scares me that I'm going to lose the cold temperatures. I know that some of them like cooler temperatures, but I'm just not ready to lose them, I guess. So I didn't do that, and I'm glad. But this next week, the lowest, I think, for a nighttime temperature is going to be like, I want to say it's like 39 or something. Not extremely cold, but pretty chilly. But I think that the brassicas can handle that, and I'll put in, some carrots and beets and radishes and things, and I think those will be okay. And during the day, we're going to have some really warm temperatures. I'm hoping that the weather will change and it will go ahead and start getting a little bit warmer. I mean, I don't want it to be so hot that it's unbearable. And last year was pretty hot. Just kind of hoping that it'll be, a little bit more bearable. But, it's strange because every year it seems to get hotter and hotter and hotter in the summer. And not everything lasts in the heat temperatures like that. I mean, like 105, that's pretty hot, so it's hard to grow some of those things down here, unless you have a greenhouse where you can control the temperature, or unless you have a, high tunnel that you can shield everything in and it not be so bad. But anyway, so yeah, that's some of my daily thoughts, like I said, I'm about halfway to town. My appointment is at 1:45. So I'm going to be getting there with about 5 minutes to spare. But luckily I don't have to fill out any kind of paperwork or nothing like that. I've been hoping that someone would come along and want to purchase the golden doodles. I have 2 for sale, 2 males. They are so sweet. Oh, I wish I could keep them. I really do. But we have right now too many dogs. And anybody would know that too many dogs on the farm is not good. Your numbers aren't ever going to be good. That's just my opinion. You get too many, and then you get them where they're not obedient, and they want to do the dog thing. And I've lost chickens, and I've lost rabbits before, and I've lost ducks. I've lost so many critters to the fact that I just had too many dogs. And I don't know what it is about me, but people are always like, oh, I have this dog, do you want it? Or, oh, you would be so great for this dog. Can you rehabilitate it? And it's like, or we see one on the side of the road, and my kids too, they're just like, Mom, it's homeless. Mom, it needs food, Mom. And it's like, my heart is bleeding, pouring out love for this critter. And it's like, I can't take on any more animals. So right now, I think we have 8 in total. I do breed Yorkies, but I don't know if that's going to be, if I'm going to continue to do that or not. I have 1 left from my last litter. I don't know why he didn't go with everybody else. We had six puppies and 1 died. So we have 5 to sell. So no, there were 7 puppies, 1 died, so we had 5 to sell. So okay. So anyway, I'll tell you what, I don't know why he didn't sell, because he is the sweetest of the litter. I swear he is. He's so sweet. We call him Trip. He is that. He is a Trip. He's super sweet. And I can let him out in an unfenced part of my property, and he will not leave. And we live like on an intersection of 2 major two major roads, highways that run right through where we live, and there's people that stop at the church next door all the time and like change drivers or whatever. They use it like a rest stop, so to speak. And then across the highway is a small country convenience store, and he don't ever leave, ever. He stays right there. Once in a while you might hear a horn honk, but I think it's more or less they're seeing him in the front yard running, and so like I guess they get nervous that he's going to come into the street, but he never leaves. And he's so cute. He's a year old, and we've got them all up to date on their shots and stuff, and so I have him, and of course the two golden doodles. That's a long story. I don't breed or raise golden doodles. They fell into my lap, and I just want to try to get out of them what we put into them if possible, so that I can put that back into my farm animals. Of course, we have a La Mancha goat. You know, that's one of those goats without any ears. It's a really interesting breed. I've never really dealt with them too much, but it's a really interesting breed. And then of course we have chickens, and we have a few other dogs that, you know, when Chris and I got together, he had some and I had some, and it's been really hard to part with them because, like, my Yorkie, my male that I have now, I had the previous parents until they passed away, and I delivered him. She struggled. It was the first litter, and so she struggled, and I delivered him, and it was just an experience unlike any other. And my kids got to witness some of that beauty from Mother Nature, and you know, we just couldn't part with him. So we wound up with Prince. His mom's name was Bella, or Bella in Spanish is princess. So then we had Prince, and then he and Roxy had, you know, their first litter about 6 years ago or 5, and I've been really successful at it. It's a lot of work. I mean, not a lot of work really, but honestly, but like, it is time consuming, because if you have a pregnant dog at home, you can't just leave. Any kind of pregnant critter you have at home, you can't just leave, you know, or go on vacation. And it's hard to ask somebody else to take care of them, because then they're just like, well, you know, I don't know how to do that, or I'm unsure if I should be doing that, you know. And then you want to be there when those animals are born. And then on top of that, I mean, you've got to make sure you've got the bedding together when they're born. If they need their tail stocked, you got to make sure that's done. New claws are done. Any kind of shots that have to be administered. You know, I mean, there's just work that goes into everything that you do in life. But I would, you know, for me, they're not producing enough to sustain us. They're producing enough for me to make a little money, but really, all in all, around here, a Yorkie can sell anywhere from $500 to $1,000. It's really hard to buy one for over $1,000, even papered. And by the time you go to the vet and you do claw, you dock ears if you have to, or you tails, or any of that stuff, I mean, it gets expensive. And then you feed them for 6 weeks, and sometimes if they don't sell, you're feeding them for instance, you're feeding them for a year. So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of rough. It can get costly, and I would rather put that money, that energy, into animals that we can eat. Chickens, a cow, you know, whatever a pig, whatever we decide to have on our farm, fruits, veggies, you know, building compost bins, and just, I mean, whatever. I would rather do that, you know. So, but anyway, those are just my random thoughts for the afternoon. It is 1:39 p.m. in Texas, and like I mentioned before, I'm headed to the doctor's, so I'm not going to stay on much longer. But I really appreciate those that have watched, or those that will continue to watch the channel as it grows, and I'm hoping that it will and change. I've got some personal things that are going to transpire in the near future, and I'm excited to bring you guys along, because I will be changing a lot of things. Things will be changing for the better, and my family thanks you for your prayers and your blessings. I have gotten a couple of emails that have been, it has been that. It's been, they have been a blessing, and we appreciate that. So just keep those coming, and we will talk to you next time. Have a good afternoon. Bye.